Oh yes, welcome back to the Bunce Hour. We've had Nathan Cleverley in the studio with his dad Vince, Enzo Macronelli, Gavin Rees and Kerry Hope. The Welsh trio, quartet, Demons have been here. Now we've got a very special studio guest. Back in the 70s and the 80s, he was setting records left, right and centre. He's actually in the Guinness Book of Records because as an amateur boxer in Britain, as it was back then, the championships, he won everything. He won the full 10. You can't even win that now. He won the full 10. And he turned professional shortly after winning the European Under-21 Championship at amateur level. And again, it's on one hand you can count the fighters that have done that in 50 years. As a pro, he was a main attraction on ITV. And in fact, I've seen some brilliant photo shoots with him next to people like Freddie Starr and Eamon Andrews and a very young-looking Jim Rosenthal, looking very dapper and his slacks pulled up to there. This guy was a player. Please welcome a big Box Nation Bunce Hour welcome for Errol Christie, please.
Hi, guys.
Oh, the crowd love you. Errol, first of all, welcome. What are you up to day to day these days?
Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, I'm around the old fighters. We all fight. We're never away from each other. We keep the old fighting spirit going.
Yeah. And what about earning? How are you earning a living these days? What are you up to?
Well, I'm doing my personal training, and I'm doing personal training. I'm also looking after kids, trying to get kids involved in boxing.
By going into schools or something?
Yeah, I've been going to the schools. I've been touring the schools. The kids have been loving it, and I've been showing them that it's not just through education, but through sport as well. You can achieve things.
You sure? Now also, Errol, did you do some sort of anti-knife crime stuff as well a few years ago?
Yeah, we did. We did the try to combat the anti-knife crime in schools, talking to kids and getting to channel all that energy they've got into a sport.
Now, your career was lively. It was entertaining.
It was very lively, yeah.
Perhaps you fought sometimes with too much heart and not enough brain. I mean, you allowed yourself to get carried away sometimes. But tell me about your time you spent with Manny Stewart out in the Cronk, because it sort of gets neglected sometimes.
Well, I mean, it was an unbelievable time for me because I was very young at the time. These guys I was seeing, they were an inspiration for me. I've seen great fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, you know, Hitman Hearns. These people were great people, and I had the opportunity to go to America at the age of 17 and train and work out with these guys, and we had a great time out there. You know, every day was different, day. I mean, to be honest, if you think we had it bad here in England, you go to America at that time, back in the 80s,
it's tough.
And it's tough.
Yeah, being black in Detroit was tough. It was tougher than being black in Coventry in the 70s.
It was tougher. It was tougher. Very tough. You know, I mean, I was called some bad words in England, but in America it was like commonly used, those sort of words. So I won't repeat them.
No, please don't. We're a family show.
Yeah.
In fact, we're a boxing family show. Unless, of course, you're sitting at home with your young baby feeding or something. We used to get that before. I mean, we've had it. We have actually had that, believe it or not. Errol, when you look back on your career, what do you have any regrets? Is there anything? Is there any powerful fight that you would like to revisit, go back to?
Well, I mean, with me, I've got no regrets about my life. The only regrets I do have is that I didn't have the educational side of it in my head. I was just a fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from really low back upcoming. I was brought out on the rough side, you can say, and it was really tough.
Rough side of a rough town.
Yeah,
don't disrespect Coventry. It's a hard town.
It was a very bad time, and I don't know if you can remember the 70s. It was like a very racial time.
But there was a lot of tension period. I mean,
yeah, it did erupt in the end of the 80s. They had a big riot, and it was a build-up through that. But it was a very terrible time. It was a terrible time. Everything. It seemed like the whole world was against me. Yeah. You know, it was like I was fighting a war on my own.
But sometimes that came across because you sort of waged a one-man war once you were inside the ring, and as you say, sometimes you didn't use your brain, you didn't use your boxing skills as much. It was, you know, because sometimes watching you as a pro was really frustrating because I would think, what are you doing? Box! You can box. What are you doing fighting?
Yeah. I mean, I've only. This is what you got to say about boxing. You can never lose your cool.
Yeah.
with boxing, it's always a very thinkful thing. You must always use your mind, your think power. It's not all about thuggery. I mean, there was one fight that I had that was a very bad fight. The fight I lost for the British title fight.
The Kayla fight.
The Kayla fight.
Yeah, because it had loads of overtimes.
That's right. Everything that I've faced in the past came to meet that day.
Fight.
That he was the support that he had was the people that I was fighting against all my life, and I kind of lost focus, the real. I mean, you might have seen it the other day with the heavyweight with Hay.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
They lost for a split second, lost his cool.
And then that's it.
You know, that little split second cost me everything, really.
Yeah, well, in many ways.
In boxing.
Stay there, Errol. Don't go away because we're going to speak to you. I'll speak to you a little bit more. But this Friday, I've got Errol Christie here in the studio with me. Errol, would you take an interest in modern boxing? I mean, do you follow it day to day? I mean, because a lot of fighters don't. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not a big heavy follower of it these days. But like when I go into my main aim is to put some inspiration into the young children who are involved in fighting, get them involved in boxing. I do, if there's a good fight worth watching.
Something gets you a bit.
Yeah, something gets me, I'll be in there for it. But at the moment, it's quite quiet on the boxing front.
Now, I know you're talking about maybe some sort of foundation, some kind of centre. Tell me more about that and where we're at with that at the moment. As
what I believe with the sport, with my sport, I call it my sport, our sport, boxing. Right? Our sport of boxing, I think it's gone down a little bit. A lot of these kids are coming up now and they don't really know how to throw a jab and a right cross, and they don't really know too much into boxing. So I'm trying to get a foundation started where we're going to help children, teach kids how to box, whether it's boxing or whatever sport they want to do. Just get them off the street, because there's so much potential I see on the street each day, wandering about the street, cause a bit of mischief, and where they can be in the gym and they can achieve through other ways. I mean, not everybody is great at school, at mathematics or whatever.
Yeah, of course not.
They can come through with sport, and that's the way forward.
And where might this be? Where might the first Errol Christie, South London, where you're living at the moment, or
at the moment, some of the guys have been talking to set one up in East London at the moment.
Okay.
As we're looking at, is either East London or it's going to be South London. So we ain't 100% sure where it's going to be at the moment, but we're looking at getting started. See who comes in on it.
I've got a tweet here from Tony Pemmy. Says, watching Errol Christie, I remember watching him outbox Eubank when Eubank was training for the Sugar Boy Malinga world title fight. Do you remember the sparring with
Brighton? Yeah.
You did some good sparring with fighters as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
did you go down to Brighton for
Eubank?
Yeah,
well, me and Chris back in the day, you know, he's always telling everybody about I done his tooth.
Yeah, I know.
He's
upset with everybody.
Yeah, he's upset. Yeah, we had some great times. You know, Nigel Bank, Chris Eubanks, all the boys. You know, those were great guys.
Don't you think, Errol? I mean, all that you've given to the sport, and all those years as an amateur, and all those years as a pro, it'd be nice if you could find yourself a position somewhere inside the business, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, it'd be nice.
You deserve it.
I was looking like maybe see if I can get involved in the Olympics.
The Olympics.
But I hear of guys carrying flags or whatever. Well, I would love to be with the boys. I mean, I know what it feels like to be in competition. I know what they've got to go through. I could ask the right sort of questions, what needs to be asked. You know, I could talk and be pally with the boys, you know. And it's a place where I've been. I spent most of my life in that. That's right, training.
How old were you when you first walked through the door? Was it a Triumph Club?
Triumph, yeah, Triumph Motors. I was about 8 years old. I was 8 with my older brother. We found a gym, and it was. We heard this big word back in the day. We never had no money. We was all broke.
It was free and warm.
That's like we heard this big word was mentioned. Free. That word free. So it stuck with me. And it's just round the corner. We all run out of the house, just round the corner through a couple of entries like driveways, and we was at the gym. Yeah. And we was welcomed in by a guy called Tom McGarry.
Yeah,
hey lads, you want a 3 in?
A legend.
Tom McGarry, he was my hero. He was my, he was my god. He was sent from the heavens
to look after you.
Well, I think Christie guidance.
Yeah, well, I knew Tom as well from covering amateur boxing, and I tell you what, you were his hero as well. So it was a mutual thing. Yeah. Now, how's your book doing? I put the black in the Union Jack.
Yeah,
I haven't got a copy. You haven't got a copy, so we can't show you it, but it is out there. It's on Amazon.
They've been selling. I mean, they've been selling really well. I did have a copy, but I had to sell that one. They will sell for giveaway.
Yeah,
I had to give that one away. You know, it's been going really well. We've been going on the road with it, and it's been selling quite well. You get good people who want to talk about it. Oh, I didn't know that happened.
I've heard the intro's fantastic.
Yeah, so I mean, the man who wrote it.
So I've heard. I've heard the intro's absolutely brilliant. I could be wrong.
Yeah, the man who wrote it, you know, he was a good writer. You know.
Listen, Errol, it's always a pleasure. Easy. Errol, it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. And it would be great if you could get involved, either at the foundation or not at the foundation. It'd be absolutely fantastic, because you deserve to be involved. You've been a great servant. I don't like to use that word, but it's the only word to use. And let me just point out that Jamie Kavanagh, we had some problems with the line, maybe the same problems we had with Chuck. So we couldn't actually get Jamie on, and I'm really sorry for that. We'll try and get him on next Monday. He doesn't fight until the 24th, so whenever's that, or maybe after he fights. But we'll get him on. If you're watching from Ireland, we're sorry about that. Errol Christie, it's been an absolute delight to have you on the show. The girls love you, brother, still. And I'll get you back on, because I always do, and I'm a good man like that.
Thank you very much.